Welcome to the 2025 Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Sawgrass is best known for the iconic Island Green Par 3 17th hole, which measures 141 yards of beauty and terror. Fans come out in droves to watch the action, for better or wetter. Once you make it through the 17th hole with a dry golf ball, the impossibly difficult 18th hole looms just beyond the tunnel. It is water all down the left, with trees, rough, and mounds all down the right. Imagine having to play that hole with $4.5 million on the line. Yes, TPC Sawgrass is beautiful, but it's a major test of skill for the best PGA Tour players in the world. Here at GolfWRX.com, we know you're not just here for the course though. You want the gear. And for that, we got you. Check out these custom St. Patrick's Day head covers from Betnardi. And for the Irish connection, Captain Keegan Bradley's custom USA colored Fujikura Ventus Black 6X shaft and ping driver head. Speaking of custom stuff, how about this drippy blue and gold Cobra bag that staffers like Max Homa and Ricky Fowler are using for the week? Last week at Bay Hill, we watched along as Aldrich Pot Guiders strike driver off the deck over 300 yards. This week, we caught up with Titleist fitter Nick Geyer to learn more about how Pot Guiders sets up his equipment.
Super talented, obviously tons and tons of speed. The easiest 190 plus that I think you've ever seen. And so the setup is built for control all the way down to his golf ball, right? So 25X with control. Spin is his friend in a sense of left-right, but we're always trying to control the up-down, right? So you see things like X7, you see things like Ventus Black 8X in his driver. That gives him the feeling of stiffness and stoutness that can control the speed, but we want left-right control too. So I think that's kind of where 25X comes in, where a little bit of spin is his friend, but we're always fighting that balance of when you get heavy and stiff, does it feel good? So yeah, really unique setup in the sense of it's probably the stiffest, heaviest bag out here. There are a few guys that deck it pretty good out here. The talent level is pretty awesome. But yeah, he is incredibly impressive. That portion of his bag is super interesting in the sense that driver, obviously a huge weapon. And then that next club in his bag can vary. So we've done 1 iron in U505. We've done a couple of different 2 irons, both T200 and U505. The 3-wood was interesting in the sense that it really is like a driver-like weapon, but it's got added spin to it for control. We've done some 280 stuff that hasn't quite made it out on the golf course yet, but I think will be really valuable as he starts to see these golf courses and figure out where do I need 200 ball speed and where is 180 with, could be 3-wood, could be the 280, really valuable as well. I think, again, when you're trying to slow it down, we're doing things with shaft weight, right? He's in a 90-gram part in his 3-wood shaft. We're doing things with loft and head size, right? So bigger head, he's in our 13.5 model, but we've added loft to it occasionally to get that right window of, okay, I've got a club that looks comfortable, but it's got spin, it's got control. And I think, again, that's the cool part about, you think about golf ball, right? Super high speed player, but he's playing 25X. kind of unique, right? He wants the control. We want the spin both around the greens and into the greens, and we're going to control it with the golf club build. Yeah, we've done, he played the V10 prototype 130 for a little while. X7, again, looking for a feel, looking for a window. That was recent. That was just after Mexico. We're doing some testing still, but it's been in the bag, I think, for a couple weeks now. I think the one thing that always boggles my mind is that I think most guys out here have a gear that you rarely ever see. You know, occasionally you'll get those viral videos that somebody going past what you normally cruise at. So that always surprises me, but he's definitely in the top handful, right? It's pretty darn fast, and he's never going at it, but we've certainly seen him go at it, and it's north of 200 pretty easy. It's very impressive. We're, excited that he's kind of getting a feel for it. Obviously, Mexico was a beautiful tournament, and there's no doubt that he'll learn and keep doing what he's doing. The first day we had a little bit of rain and a little bit of weather, so not a whole lot of work done yesterday, Monday. The course facilities opened at 12, and then golf course opened at 3, so guys kind of warmed up and went out. I think everybody's still getting a feel for the condition. The rain, I think, changed. Everybody anticipated really firm and kind of spicy. Got rain last 2 days, so it's kind of not as spicy as they thought. But it's a great test. So I think once we get everybody around the golf course today, we may have a couple of pivots of, hey, I'm feeling like this. I've had a couple of 280 requests, so I think this golf course is one of the first really great fits for GT 280, and when it comes to T-ball, wanting it to be in the fairway, but wanting to be a little further down than 3-wood. The right T-ball and the right club for a couple of different T-balls, I think this place speaks to that, right? That 300-yard ball where those long players want to keep it at 300, and maybe the players that aren't quite as long want that 3-wood to go further. That's where kind of 280 shines.
Then, while inside the massive clubhouse, we checked out the Players Championship trophy. This awesome Tiger Woods painting that's certainly better than most. And these custom swag golf head covers. With those in mind, let's pause for a quick merch break. The fan shop at the Players was absolutely stacked with cool items this year. From Nike, Barstool Sports, Breezy Golf, Eastside Golf, Good, Bad Birdie, and way more. Right outside the exit from the fan shop, fans could get their own 17th hole experience. With fun for all ages. On the back of the range, we watched along as two-time defending champion Scotty Scheffler worked on his body movements during the swing. And as Shane Lowry tested out his ball shaping skills around the field goal of trees. Lowry also tested out 4 different Srixon drivers on Tuesday, as he's still hunting down the right driver fit. For the gamblers, this week we caught up with betting expert Keith Stewart from Read the Line for his picks this week, and we learned about the intersection of equipment testing and betting research.
Andrew, I'm a lifelong golf geek. That's what I am. 20 plus years as a golf course operator. I'm still a PGA professional, but I've taken what I've done, learned at the green grass out to the green grass of the PGA Tour, the LPGA, the TGL, and I cover golf from a betting perspective. I started a media company called Read the Line 4 years ago. We've been extremely successful being on site predicting winners because, 12,000 hours of teaching the game, playing professionally, I see a couple things that most people don't, just like you guys do in the equipment sector. And there's just so many great crossovers between the two of us. Equipment affects how people play every week, just like the agronomy, the architecture, the course design, everything. So it's absolutely essential part of my business model to be out here, and a huge part of our success story. I will go back to a conversation, if it's okay, that we were having earlier this week.
Absolutely.
You always come to me. It's always a give and take. We share information. It's like, Keith, what should I be looking for as far as like the skills? Because those are probably the clubs that people are going to switch out. And then I go, Andrew, who's switching what? Because does that match up with the skills that I think are necessary in order to win for this week, the Players Championship? So one of them is that everyone thinks that this place is intimidating off the tee, and it is. But if you're great at driving the golf ball and you're an aggressive player, then you can separate. You can't just separate with par 5 scoring. And what I mean by separate, it's like, how do you differentiate yourself from the field? Like, how does Scotty Scheffler win? He doesn't just do it because he birdies the par 5s. He does it because he splits the fairway. So a good example for me when I'm talking about like Keith's keys and Read the Line for how to win this week is that we were talking a lot about attacking off the tee, strokes gained off the tee, who's hitting the ball the best. Ludwig Oberg, the kid, he does it extremely well. Look at the winners here. JT, Rory, Scotty, very aggressive off the tee. They attack this place. They don't sit back. They don't let Pete Dye's diabolical design define who they're going to be that week, right? So we were talking about Colin, the disappointment from Sunday. And what, Andrew, what are the guys at the top of the betting board? What are they doing this week? Well, Colin had a mini driver he was testing. Well, wait a second. I mean, the guy he should have just won Bay Hill at chip in, it wasn't just, I'm not saying he gave it up, but I'm just saying it's tough to win. And he's switching something in the bag. Well, from a betting perspective, that's extremely interesting to me, right? So now I don't have time to look at all 144 golfers, but as you know, if you help me target people and I help you target people to look for, then between the two of us, we come up with some really, really good, valuable content. And I think that's extremely effective for what you all do as far as helping your, fans and audience learn more about the equipment. And then certainly my fans and audience, they appreciate, basically the information I get from you and Greg when I'm out here on tour. Well, everyone's going nuts about, how wet it is and all of this and everything. You got to keep in mind, this is just like Augusta National. They prepare for this thing every single year. So yes, did it rain on Sunday, Monday? Sure it did, but it also rained at Bay Hill, and by Sunday it was super crusty. They have to start soft on Thursday. And remember, this place has precision air under the greens. They can make them any way you want. So if you don't see a ton of roll on Thursday, the greens are still going to be rock hard. So what we're preparing for is another very difficult test. We need guys that are a little bipolar with their approach game, right? You got to be good from long range, like on the 8th hole, and you got to be good from short range on the 17th hole, right? The famous island green. You got to hit a wedge on there. And then 237 on number 8 off the tee for an iron for these guys to attack that par 3. And, the other thing that we're really looking at is that, in the last 5 years that this event moved back to March, it has been a major championships ballpark, right? And I'm not trying to say it's the 5th major or anything. No, the guys that win major championships, right? The average winner's odds have been plus 1,800. That's 18 to 1. So that's the same guys that everyone's talking about. Morikawa, Oberg, Scotty, Rory, these guys at the top of the board, JT, Hideki. So for me, a couple early leans for the GolfWRX faithful. At the top of the board, I love the kid again. He's a generational talent off the tee, and we never talk about him switching anything. What he's got in the bag, Ludwig Oberg, if you don't know what I mean by the kid, Ludwig Oberg, it's always status quo. And I love the fact that it's always the same, which is right down the middle of the fairway. He played here once last year, finished 8th, right? He's already won the Genesis. He's a guy that has the type of talent that could hang with Scotty long enough. And if Scotty's having a slow start to his season, the type of guy that can win this week. And then if you want to go a little further down the board, I love me a little what Sepp Straka's got going on. Again, not a lot of changes. Changes usually make you and I a little bit unsettled when it comes to how these guys are going to perform. Sepp Straka, since he's won, right, 5th, 17th miscut, 11th, this guy is just absolutely killing it. You look at this field and his ball striking, tee to green, since the start of 2025 is up there with Tommy, with JT, with Scotty, with Ludwig, you know, like the best players in the world that are striking it the best. And I've been out here watching these guys with you for the last like 7-8 weeks in a row. Sepp's one of those guys, and at 50-1, well, you know, we like a good long shot here and read the line. So for me, you know, hey, you want to be a better? Check out GolfWRX and me at Read the Line.
On the TaylorMade truck, we got a great look at Carl Phillips' new TaylorMade P770 long iron, which he added this week to help achieve a higher launch on his long iron shots. We spotted Colin Morikawa testing out a TaylorMade Burner mini driver, but it remains to be seen whether it'll make his final 14 club starting lineup for the week. Now, for some special access inside the Creator Classic, where 10 of the biggest YouTube golf stars were preparing to play in an 8-hole stroke play competition, concluding on the iconic 17th hole. We checked out the bags of each contestant, including Wesley Bryan, Gabby Golf Girl, George Bryan, Fat Perez from Bob Does Sports, Roger Steele, Grant Horvat,
All right, guys, we're here at the Creator Classic, and we're going to go over what's in my bag. Got a kind of mixed bag here. I have a new putter, so we're going with the broomstick. It's a long one. It's been fun to use. I don't know why I went to it. I just it chose me. So I was looking at it one day. Actually, I think I know why I went to it. I played with Adam Scott. He was using it. I tried his, and I really liked it. I liked the way he made it look, so gave it a try and started making some putts. But as you guys know, the honeymoon phase, you never know how long it's gonna last. But we got a QI 35 driver, 3-wood and hybrid. I have the core model here. I actually love this driver right here, all the carbon fiber. When I look down at it, it's like my favorite club right now. I feel very confident over it. For the irons, we got a full set of Tacoma irons, but I went with a more forgiving model. I started out with the CB editions, and then I just recently went to the 201s, like a little bit thicker. I actually have an entire bag with them. I thought to myself one day, I always like to try and play the bladier ones, and then eventually I go back to the more forgiving models. So 201s here, and then for the wedges, we have the raw finish MG4s. They rust, so I guess that's what the cool kids do. When Tiger is around you and he's quiet with his arms crossed watching you hit a shot, it's not a feeling you can recreate. So the first shot, I was so nervous. He walked up to the tee, said hi, talked about the video a little bit, and then he literally just stood there, arms crossed, and watched me hit a couple. You're like he knows, and I feel like Tiger, he knows his presence, and so he's kind of like testing you. Can you actually perform when I'm watching you? And so, I was so nervous, but it actually worked out pretty well. I'm gonna go with like a 9-iron. I'm gonna take a lot more club. I feel like long is fine. You obviously can't go short. If I go past that pin and it spins back anywhere near that collection area, that's a great shot. But hey, I'll tell you one thing, like it's gonna be a really hard day. The rough is thick, they got it ready for the players, and we're tipping it out, and the wind just picked up. So yeah, I think 3-4 over might make it into the playoff. I think it's gonna be that hard. I never thought I'd be owning a golf club company one day, and it's been so cool to see the success of Tacoma and just watching them grow with sales and everything. The direct-to-consumer model, kind of taking out the, going to the traditional store and getting fit for clubs. You kind of just now go on the internet, You pick out what model you want. They're half the price as the normal irons that you would be looking at, and right to your doorstep really quick. So it's worked. Well, first off, the irons feel amazing. They feel like some of the best irons I've hit, but also it's really cool. I think the YouTube demographic, the YouTube golf demographic, people watching, a lot of them are getting into golf and they need new sets of irons. And so Tacoma is just a great option, especially if you're like just getting into the game. You need a set quick, and you know, you don't want to break the bank too. So it's been awesome.
Solely from no laying up. Tish Allen. And long driving phenomenon Kyle Berkshire. Trent from Barstool Sports. Before their rounds, Barstool's Frankie Borelli took us inside Trent's game plan for the event and his recent iron switch.
What's the game plan tonight?
So we were kind of just talking through it. Obviously, distance is going to be an issue. We're looking at the book here. We've got a 573 par 5 on the second hole, the 11th hole on the golf course, with a 251 carry to the shortest part over the water. These are things that we're not going to be able to really achieve, right? We don't hit the ball 260 carry. What we're going to do is we're going to keep this thing as tight as we can to the middle of the fairway and just plug along. Just hitting good, solid golf shots that aren't awry and hitting people and killing people in the stands. We want to keep this thing nice and tight. And what I just told him, if we can find balls in the middle of the greens, regardless of what that ball is going in, if it's our 4-shot, 5-shot, 6-shot, hit the middle of the green, 2-putt, and let's walk away to the next hole.
That's real.
That's it.
And we got new irons in the bag?
New iron.
How do you feel about that?
Trent Ryan is hitting his P790s better than he's ever hit an iron before. He went from the Stealth to the QI10, now to the P790s from TaylorMade. He is striking them. He's actually making divot patterns for the first time in his life. I love to see it. Just real improvement. Like, this is what game improvement irons are supposed to do. They help you find the sweet spot. They make you feel confident in the game, and then you start to graduate up. I feel no pressure because I'm caddying. He feels all the pressure.
If I can hit the golf shots like I did them right now, we're gonna be fine.
You're just turning into you're turning into the golfer you want to turn into. Consistent.
And Fat Perez from Bob Does Sports gave us an idea of how he was feeling before playing in front of all those fans.
Usually 7-wood.
Your usual warm-up routine?
Yeah.
You're a 7-wood guy?
Yeah. It's a comfortable club, a lot of face.
Hurt myself.
A lot of, good for layups, good for coming into the long par fours. I think I'm going to hit a lot today.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
So that's a nice go-to club for
It's a go-to club. If I need to just get something out there or get something down the fairway, something out of heavy rough, it's great out of the rough. It's just like my safety net.
What are the level of nerves right now for you?
Not bad. I mean, we got plenty of time still, so it'd be a problem if I was feeling it already. It's like if I'm gonna do anything in front of a bunch of people, it'd be hit a golf ball. So, sort of, you gotta go out and do it. It's an opportunity, right?
Yep.
It's fun.
I love it. Have a day, man.
Have a day, always.
The energy around the Creator Classic created a great show, with fans of all ages coming out to support their favorite YouTube stars. Although Barstool Trent finished at 29 over par, he ended up stealing the scene. On 17, his ball found a watery grave, over. And over. And over. And over again. But then, absolute electricity.
Oh yeah!
Come Sunday, PGA Tour players will face the same challenge as they compete for the ultimate prize at one of the most iconic golf courses on the PGA Tour. Unfortunately, we now have to say goodbye to the 17th hole and the Players' Championship. But we'll see you next time on Inside the Ropes with GolfWRX. Enjoy the Players' Championship.